Welcome back to the only channel brave enough to bring you trash bag ponchos. And stylish it was. If you missed that episode, it was full of terrible painting and sanding, and yeah, it was pretty hateful. At least I was hating it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This episode, I got the centerboard up here in a position that I can easily work on it. I'm going to get this side sanded down, and we're going to put some fairing compound in here to make it more of that airfoil shape that it should be. And then it's just going to get the paint put on it. So it might be another one of those episodes where I'm hating life. But this should be a lot easier than painting down inside the centerboard box. So I'm looking forward to getting this done. Which reminds me, before I start painting on here, we need to trim off a little bit of this bottom edge here because it was rubbing on the bottom of the centerboard box. And I need to weld on my stainless steel studs for the zincs, the zinc anodes that go down here. So, enough talking, let's just get to it. Welding stainless to mild steel is hard, and especially when you're talking about things of this big of size difference. I mean, the bolt head wants to just melt away, and this big old centerboard doesn't want to take any heat at all. So you saw me preheat it with the torch, and that helped a lot, but they're still not very pretty welds. They will hold though. They're going to be strong enough, and they electrically are bonded for sure. So yeah, no issues there. It's going to be great. So I'm going to do the other side, and then we'll get to fairing compound. a look at this. It's done and it looks great. Except for I'm not done where I put the fairing compound because it needs to be sanded and it has to dry fully before that. So I decided to paint everything I could and just sand and paint those little areas later rather than starting another project which would have caused a bunch of dust, I'm sure, which would have settled onto here. And yeah, it's just better this way. Overall, I like and don't like this method of painting. It seems like it takes an awful long time. This is, it's 7 feet long and 3 1/4 feet tall. So that's 7 times 3.25 times 2, because I did 2 faces, that's 45.5 square feet. And it took me 7 hours to do that. So I feel like it takes quite a long time. This is 6 coats. I got the thickness much better this time, so I feel good with just doing 6 coats. I think, yeah, the hull is going to take quite a while, but this is the method that I'm going to use, and it coats very well, and I feel safe with it. And the anti-fouling that I'm going to use is C-Speed VX10 Ultra Clear, which needs to be sprayed on. And yeah, that's going to be an excellent coating. I can do that all the way up to the gunnels because it doesn't matter if it's outside the water or not. It's safe being dry, unlike a lot of other anti-foul coatings. And that will give an extra layer of protection, which I really like. So this has been kind of a short episode, so I thought, why don't we talk about what's left to do on the boat. On the outside, I've got about 2/3 of the hull sanded. Just the back end is left to sand, and same on the deck, about 2/3. Here at the stern, I need to do the sanding, and also I need to get the rudder off. I need to take the propeller and propeller shaft out, replace the cutlass bearing, add on the servo tab that's going to be my self-steering gear to the trailing edge of the rudder. And I have some spots up top to patch where there's just fiberglass instead of metal, and some overhaul fittings. Of course, there's rust to be patched as well. Of course, we have to rig and step the mast. Here in the cockpit, I need to lengthen the rear end of the cockpit and change the hatches. Maybe add another 2 hatches on the side here. Maybe I'll do that later. I need to put the steering pedestal in its position, and I need to make a hard dodger and move the track for the traveler for the main sheet up onto the top of the hard dodger. And of course, drains for the bottom of the cockpit as well, so I stop filling up with water. And the diesel fill tube needs to be moved up to here, which I've already got the fitting for. Just need to cut the tube and drill the hole. That'll be an easy one. On deck, I need to get all the rust repaired. We need to do some fairing. It needs to be painted. Of course, the hull needs to be painted as well. Then I need to get all of the hatches back on. Luckily, my mom did some awesome work cleaning the gunk off of the bottom of those. And probably some other passive, active ventilation systems. Maybe I'll worry about that later. Who knows? And of course, there's going to be some lighting, navigation lights, and some other miscellaneous wiring. Down below here, there's not really all that much actually. We need to get the engine started. I need to tidy up the wiring and fuel lines and water line for that. We need to drill some holes for through hulls and get some sensors put in place and wiring for the power systems. So yeah, not a ton to do in here. Oh, and the dripless seal for the shaft on the inside. And one last thing on the deck, I need to put up the stanchions and the lifelines. So that's a pretty big list, but it's not terrible. So hope you enjoyed this episode.